Hey man, let's cut through the noise and start with the truth, the kind that stings but frees you. She knows. She knows you like her. She knows you care. She knows you're waiting for her reply. She's seen your message, maybe even replayed your voice in her head once or twice, and then she made a decision not to answer. And that silence, that's her answer. If someone truly wanted to be in your life, you wouldn't have to chase. You wouldn't have to decode mixed signals or overanalyze a text thread. When a person genuinely values you, they make it clear. There's no hesitation, no excuses, no confusion. But here you are, sitting in silence, convincing yourself she's busy, her phone died, she forgot to reply. You know better, you just don't want to face it. The unread message is your closure. See, the male mind craves logic, and rejection doesn't make logical sense, especially when it follows attraction, connection, and good chemistry. But attraction for women isn't logical, it's emotional. It fluctuates, it tests, it retracts when she senses weakness. And chasing, explaining, convincing, all of that screams weakness. You can't argue your way into someone's desire. You can't talk your way into respect. If she wanted you, you'd know. You wouldn't need to question it. Part 1. Stop confusing interest with investment. Most men confuse interest with investment. She might have been interested, maybe she laughed at your jokes, maybe you had chemistry, maybe she even said she liked you. But interest is cheap. It costs her nothing. Investment is what matters. It's the effort she puts in, the energy she gives back, the way she shows up without being asked. When she stops investing, stops initiating, stops responding, stops being curious, the energy has shifted. She's pulled back to see if you'll chase. And when you do, when you fill the silence with words, explanations, and just checking in, messages, you confirm her suspicion that you need her validation more than she needs your presence. That's the death of attraction. Part 2. Her silence is her truth. You've got to stop romanticizing her absence. You tell yourself, maybe she's scared. Maybe she's testing me. Maybe she's busy. But deep down, you know. People make time for who they truly want. A woman's silence is her most honest communication. When she ignores you, she's telling you something words can't, that you're no longer the emotional priority. Now, that doesn't mean you're not valuable. It means she doesn't feel that value in this moment. And no amount of texting will change that feeling. Because attraction isn't built through words. It's built through space, energy, and polarity. The more you chase her, the less she feels you. The more you try to convince her, the more she resists. Because now you've entered her frame, reacting to her pace instead of setting your own. Part 3. The psychology of chasing. When you text her again after she's gone quiet, what you're really doing is trying to escape uncertainty. You can't stand the not knowing. And that discomfort, that tension makes you act impulsively. But here's what you don't realize. She feels that energy. She senses the unease in your messages, the desperation under your jokes, the anxiety hidden in your just checking in. Women are emotional sensors. They don't analyze your words, they read the frequency underneath them. And when she feels that your energy is reactive instead of grounded, her attraction drops. Because the masculine role, the one she respects, the one she desires, is calm under pressure. It doesn't need reassurance. It doesn't chase clarity. It creates it. The man who can sit in uncertainty without losing composure radiates power. That's who she remembers. Part 4. Every text pushes her further away. Let's talk strategy. Every message you send after she's already disengaged makes her feel less urgency to respond. Why? Because you've already filled the gap for her. She doesn't have to wonder how you feel. You've told her over and over. There's no mystery, no curiosity, no tension, and without tension, there's no attraction. Humans don't value what's easily accessible. We value what requires effort, patience, and emotional risk. When you're always available, you become background noise, predictable, unthreatening, unchallenging. When you go silent, you reintroduce tension, and tension, when handled with composure, creates attraction. So don't text her. Don't check her stories. Don't linger in her digital shadow hoping for a sign, because your silence speaks louder than anything you could say. It communicates strength, self control, and emotional independence traits that trigger respect, not pity. Part 5. Flip the script. Here's the power move. Stop trying to win her attention and start demanding your own. You've been in pursuit mode for too long, trying to earn interest instead of command respect. When you flip the script, you become the man who doesn't chase energy, he attracts it. You do this by doing what most men can't, becoming unavailable. Not as a performance, as a lifestyle. You start putting your energy where it actually multiplies your work, your health, your mission, your circle. You become a man too focused on growth to be distracted by someone who can't see your value. Because the truth is, she can't feel your value while you're chasing her. But the moment you pull away, the moment your attention disappears, the balance shifts. She starts to feel the void, the silence, the absence, the weight of your energy missing from her orbit. That's when she starts to question her own decisions. You don't make her miss you by posting quotes or playing games. You make her miss you by truly moving on. Part 6. Reclaiming your energy. Let's talk about energy, because that's what this really is. Every minute you spend overthinking her, you're giving away your life force. That mental replay of your last conversation, that emotional check-in, every time you open your phone, it's energy leaking out of you. You're building nothing. You're feeding a ghost. But imagine if you redirected that same energy into yourself, your fitness, your business, your craft, your peace. You'd start to see what she couldn't. You'd start to become the man you were supposed to be before you got lost in the chase. The masculine grows when it's challenged, and rejection, silence, distance, those are all tests. The question is, can you hold your frame through them? The answer determines your evolution. Part 7. The shift. Here's what happens when you truly stop caring. At first, nothing. She doesn't reach out. You feel that pull to break the silence, but you resist. You hold. You wait. Then something subtle happens. You stop checking your phone. You start focusing on your day again. You start sleeping better. You start laughing. You start regaining your center. Then one day she notices. She sees you're not orbiting her anymore. Maybe she texts. Maybe she doesn't. But here's the truth by then. It doesn't matter, because the goal was never to win her back. It was to win yourself back. Part 8. Emotional discipline. The masculine core. This is what separates men who attract respect from men who chase validation. Emotional discipline. You don't need to prove your value to anyone. You don't need to justify your worth through someone's attention. You show it by walking away with dignity, by controlling your energy, by mastering your emotions instead of letting them master you. That's what masculine composure really is. Power without noise, presence without panic, silence that commands attention. You'll know you've evolved when you can look at your phone, see no message, and feel nothing. That's the real win. Because indifference, when earned, is power. Final thought. The man who doesn't reach out wins. In the end, this isn't about her. It's about you. You're not losing a woman. You're losing the version of yourself that needed her to validate him. And when that version dies, a stronger one takes his place, a man who doesn't flinch, who doesn't chase, who doesn't need closure to move forward. Because the man who doesn't reach out first, the man who stays calm, quiet, and focused always wins in the long run. Not because he played the game better, because he stopped playing it altogether.